YouTube, what's cracking, man? Your boy Bio back with another review for y'all. This review is long overdue, man. This is on the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Origins Classified Series Storm Shadow by Hasbro. This is a figure that I've gotten. I think I got him like it's been months, man. Probably as far back as like March is when I first got him. He's been in the box the whole time in my room. Never took him out, never displayed him or anything because, wanted this to be a nice, authentic review. But yeah, man, there he is. He's out the package. I mean, first off, I'm not a huge fan of this color of white that they chose for, I mean, this is pretty movie accurate. If anything, maybe like the movie colors might be slightly, brighter than this, but overall, this is a pretty accurate white compared to the movie. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like a off white kind of beigeish cream type of white. I like Storm Shadow as like a more snow white, like like a pure white color. Most times, but it's not bad. The choice that they went with isn't bad. They kind of did the same thing with the Akiko figure, but it doesn't look bad by any means. My first gripe about the figure though is that even before the review started, I took him out the package and I was trying to get him to stand. He has trouble standing, man, and I think it's honestly just because like they made the feet kind of tiny on him. But I'll show that off in a little bit later when we do like articulation and stuff and take a closer look at him. But yeah, man, like I feel like him and Snake Eyes feet are like just kind of tiny, man. I don't know why they made them so small for these figures, but they're just like they have little feet. But anyways, before we take a closer look at him, y'all know we gotta look at them accessories first, right? So here is his alternate head sculpt, which I would say is actually pretty good. I really, really do like the look of it. Um, I forget the actor who played him, but I would say this looks like him for sure. And I really like the paint detail on this. You can see the scar right there by his eyes. That looks pretty good. Nice paint work for the eyebrows, the nose, the lips. Everything looks pretty good. Pretty solid. You can kind of see like a line right there, like where the hairline is. Like you can kind of see like some flesh tone poking through, like under right there, like where they like molded in the hair right there. But that doesn't look bad. That's like you won't even notice that unless you're like really looking. But overall, the paint detail looks pretty good. A little splotchy around the ear there. You can see like, you know, they didn't quite get the hairline to me like where the ear is. Like there's a little bit of flesh tone and everything, but overall it still looks really good. Looks realistic. Pretty solid, like a solid kind of matte black color for the hair. Not too shiny, so I like that. Yeah, I mean overall this looks pretty good. Can't complain. Nice head sculpt. I like the sculpt. I like how you like. It looks like he's frowning. Like I really like how they did the sculpt of the the like how you can see the forehead like arching. That looks really good. I like when they do that because it makes the character look more expressive. Like they're really like frowning and stuff. So that looks pretty cool. Yeah, there's the alternate head, and then he comes with this little scabbard piece that plugs into his back. It's got a peg right here that you can plug into his back, and I'll show that a little bit later. But he's got this little double scabbard thing that's gonna hold both of his swords. He comes with like two swords. I think they're katanas, but don't quote me on that because I don't want to get the weapon name wrong. But yeah, he comes with two swords, which look like this. So he's got two of these, and I like the paint detail on these. These look really good. You can see the handle right there. I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. See, kind of interesting color for the the handles, but pretty much basically the same color as like what's on Storm Shadow on his suit. See if I can get some better focus on that. Let's see. It's kind of hard because I got a white background, so it might be a little bit hard to focus in on these. But okay, there you can kind of see that. Hopefully, I'm not blocking too much of the light in here. But yeah, some nice texture and detail going around there too. That looks pretty good. Nice. Got the black on the tip there, and then black right here for the hilt. That looks pretty good. And then You got gold at the start, at the base of the sword, and then a nice kind of silver metal. It's not like super shiny or anything, not super reflective, but you can see like even the details in the sword are like sculpted in there, kind of like a serrated pattern sculpted in there. That looks pretty good. So yeah, he gets 2 of those swords. So that's cool. But yeah, let's take a closer look at Storm Shadow. So yeah, man, he's got he's kind of got tiny feet, which is why he has trouble standing. You can see his feet right here. I mean, I guess they're like normal size, average size. They just, I don't know, something about like the way they sculpted like the lower leg, and like you'll see when you get, if you ever get the figure like in person. I don't know, his feet, the way like the sculpt of his feet, they just made him look like almost like he's got like little baby feet, you know, in comparison to like his legs. But I don't know. It's probably accurate, if anything. I'm sure like the actor doesn't have, unreasonably large feet or anything like that. But I don't know. I just feel like they kind of gave him and Snake Eyes somewhat like small feet, in my opinion. But overall, not bad. Snake Eyes has an easier time standing up. I will say that. Took me a little, messing around to get this guy to stand straight. But here's how he looks. And overall, I'd say they did a pretty good job, with the detail. Not a whole lot of like, not really any shading or anything. It's pretty much just the white color kind of uniform all the way throughout. I think he was just molded in this color and they probably just kept it like that. I think the only real paint work on him is like the silver paint for these, this kind of like, I don't even know what you would call this little strap or whatever. These silver lines kind of going down the side. So that looks pretty good. Nice silver paint there. And this is the of course the head sculpt that comes on him. So you can see he's also kind of frowning in there, which is appropriate for Storm Shadow. And he's got another silver line going down here by the torso. But overall, yeah, I don't know. I think this is, mostly just like a molded figure. So like there isn't like a whole lot of paint on him. Mostly just like the silver parts that kind of like run from the front and the back. The silver line work. But, it looks good overall. What's here looks pretty good. So, he's typically in an all white outfit anyway. So there's not a lot of paint that they probably could have thrown on him. And it's, as far as I can tell, it's movie accurate. So, can't go wrong with that. So, you could go wrong with that, but, it looks like they did a good job with keeping it movie accurate. So that's really good. But, yeah, see, even as I talk, he's having trouble standing without me holding his leg. See, look at this. I'm gonna let go of his leg. Boom. Man cannot hold a pose, man. You gotta like really kind of mess with the feet. I found that it kind of helps to push like one leg back and have the other leg a little bit more forward, and that kind of helps him balance. But yeah, it's the feet, man. I don't know. The feet and the leg design just kind of keep him from wanting to stand up straight on his own. So that kind of blows. But anyways, let's get into articulation. Got to know about that articulation, right? So, see, for the arms, we got a ball hinge shoulder. Oh, wow, that's kind of a click there. Wasn't expecting that. A little bit of a click. But he can get his arm out horizontally about that far. So that's like almost a perfect 90. And the camera looks like a perfect 90. It's actually like a little bit less than a perfect 90, but still looks pretty good. That's plenty of range. You can get it down by his sides. And I like how this looks. It's a nice natural look by his side. It's like pretty close to his side, so that looks good. Very well done there. Oh my goodness. Sorry, y'all. One of these days, one of these reviews, I'm gonna make sure my camera doesn't fall. Apologize, y'all. I know that's annoying. But he has a double jointed elbow. As you can see right here. Get him into view. Double jointed elbows, which seem to work pretty well. Oh yeah, he can get plenty of range out of that. Basically scratch his own back. Look at that. It's like he's scratching his back right there. So plenty of range for the elbow. double jointed elbows. You can extend that back out. He has swivel in the for the hands, so you can swivel the hands on him. It doesn't come with any alternate hands, but you can swivel the ones that are on him. It's a little bit of a tight joint, but you can twist it all the way around, so that's cool. Does it have a hinge? It does, and it's one of the vertical hinges instead of the horizontal, which is good. You know, Anthony's Customs has said in the past that, with characters like these that wield like swords and things like that, you need to give them a vertical hinge so that instead of a horizontal, so that they can, because naturally that's how like a real person would wield like a sword or something. You should be able to like move their hand like in an up and down motion instead of like side to side. And Hasbro, I'm pretty sure, has listened to him because they started doing that on a lot of their figures. And so yeah, he's got like the vertical hinge, so you can move the hand up and down like that. See that? That looks pretty good. Make sure I'm getting enough light over here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there we go. So you can see that clearly, but yeah. And I think they did pretty good too, also for like the flesh tone. Like I like how the flesh tone is different from the suit. It's like a clear difference. So that looks really good. Nice flesh tone for the hands and everything. But yeah. So yeah, he gets the hinge, the vertical hinge. And then as far as the torso, he's got kind of like a waist twist, but it feels clicky. It's almost like it's on maybe like a ratchet joint or something. But he can like rotate pretty much all the way around. You hear those clicks? Yeah, it's like he's on a very clicky type of joint. I don't know if it's like a ball peg in there or like a ratchet, but it sounds like a ratchet to me. But yeah, he does have waist twists. He can arch. Yeah, he's got to be on a ratchet with all this clicking. But he's got an arch. He can arch back about that far, and the paint you can see is continued all the way through, so that looks good. You can arch his back about like that far, so that's pretty good. And then leaning forward, if you click it all the way, you can go that far forward, so that's pretty good for a ninja, right? That looks pretty decent to me. Yeah, he's got a very clicky type of torso articulation, but I mean, I don't know. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't mind it too much as long as he still gets plenty of range. I think it's definitely better to not have it be clicky, so that you can get, because when it's clicky, that means like there's certain intervals that he's gonna like stop at, and then obviously when it's not, you can kind of get him like in between the clicks, have like a little bit more range there, but overall it still looks, it's acceptable for at least for me. He's got like a floaty piece for the belt. So this kind of like skirt piece that goes around his legs here, and the pouches and everything, which have a really nice sculpt, by the way. And I would say they're like kind of like a slightly different. I think this is like paint. The paint is like a slightly different color than like the rest of his suit, because you can tell like I think the rest of this was pretty much just like molded plastic, and then this is actual paint that they use, and probably like the closest color that they could find to match the rest of his body. But it works. It definitely works, fits in nicely. I'd say it's like a slightly different color than the rest of him, but it still works. And this is like a very loose floaty piece on him, which isn't bad. Probably helps with like articulation, probably get out of the way so you can use the legs, which we will discuss right now. Oh yeah, hold on. So for the I forgot to mention, he does have bicep swivel. He does have a bicep swivel. Back this up a little bit. You guys can see that. He's got a nice bicep swivel in there. It kind of cuts up the sculpt in certain positions, like you can see right there. Because the way the sleeve is sculpted, I'm not sure if there's too much they could have done about that, but it does like break up the sculpt in certain positions. But other than that, still looks really good. At least better to have a bicep swivel than not, right? So that's fine with me. And then obviously being on the ball, he gets full rotation in the arms, so he gets like a windmill action going. So that looks pretty good. And then he kind of has like butterfly joints, so there's like a cut. You can see like the cut on the side right here. It's like a little bit gappy, which it doesn't look too bad. So, you know, I dig that. You can kind of see in there, like into his chest and like into the shoulder. I don't know. I don't think it looks too bad. I think that looks pretty good. And then he has like kind of like a butterfly joint, so it goes forward a little bit. Doesn't give him too much extra range. And then going backwards, oh my bad. Let's see, going backwards, a little bit too. It doesn't afford a whole lot of range, you know, really. Like realistically, he doesn't get too much out of that butterfly joint, but it does allow for a little bit extra range than you would get normally. So I guess that's okay. Always nice to have a butterfly joint, you know, when we can get one and it actually like looks good with the figure. So yeah, I think that's everything. Let's do the head, because I always seem to forget the head. The head can look up. Seems like it's on a ball peg. He can look up. Oh crap, popped it off. Went a little too far. Hold on one sec. Pop that back on. Get back on there. Okay, there we go. Easy pop back on, but yeah, he can look up. So without trying to get it without popping off of the peg, you can look up about that far, which is pretty good. Looks nice and natural too. So that looks pretty good. And then looking down, you can look down about that far, which is pretty good. You know, kind of tucks into the sculpt of the collar piece going around right here. So that looks pretty good. And then obviously being on a ball, he should be able to rotate 360. Yes, he does. He can do some exorcist action. Completely rotate. Does he have any tilt or swivel? Let's see. For the head. Oh yeah, he's got a little bit. Got a little bit tilt and swivel in there, so that's pretty good. That's nice. And the sculpt looks pretty good, man. I mean, that face sculpt, pretty dang realistic if you ask me. Like you can see like the eyes, like the flesh tone in there. You know, the paint for the eyebrows, everything looks pretty good. And the nose like poking through. I like how it's sculpted, like even in the mask, like you can see the nose like poking through. So it actually looks like there's a person under there. Very well sculpted. It looks good, man. Pretty nice paint detail. Or yeah, I think his mask, I want to say, is painted. So very nice paint detail work for that. And then onto the legs, you can kick up about that much. So you can see that, pretty much like a perfect right angle. Let's see, can you go farther? You can kind of force it and like push it up a little bit more. It's gonna go like kind of out to the side, but yeah, you can kick up about that much. So that's pretty good. Very, very good. Nice high kick. Hiya! And then going backwards, you can go, you kind of like move the floaty piece out of the way because he's gonna kind of run into like the, you know, the little skirt piece, but let's see, keep his legs straight. Kind of move that out of the way. His foot can go back about that far, so that's pretty good. That's about as much range as Shocker had, so that's pretty good. You know, this is a ninja, so he should be particularly agile, right, and pretty flexible, but I'll take that for sure. Let's see, out to the side. Can you do the splits? Yeah. I mean, not quite, but let's see, maybe if I move the piece a little bit more, yeah, he can pretty much do the splits. He does. It seems like he doesn't want to hold it though. I guess like the way that joint is designed inside there for the legs, like he doesn't really want to hold like a true splits pose, but you know, see when I let it go, they kind of like fall back a little bit, but yeah, that's pretty good. Like you can kind of force them. You can at least like get that range if you really push, so that's good. And he has a let's see, thigh swivel. So I'll show you with this leg. Should be easier to see. He's got a thigh swivel in here. Upper thigh swivel right there. Kind of clicky too. I don't know. He's a very clicky figure. One of the most clicky figures I've had in a minute. But he's got upper thigh swivel. He's got double jointed knees. You can get that to bend. There we go.